Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome to You, Me, and the UKTC, the show in which we deep dive the UKTC mission pack and tell you everything you need to know in order to be successful at UKTC events. Many moons ago, it was the job of Mr. Ed to create a wonderful series in which he spoke about all things necessary, and it's now my job. So let's see if I can manage it. Let's crack on. So today is mission three. It is the Warhammer Classic of Take and Hold. Okay, so for each objective you hold, you're getting 5 points up to a maximum of 15. So hold one, hold two, hold three. And it's hidden supplies, which means there's even more objectives to be holding. There's four all the way across the middle. So yeah, lovely. Let's have a look at the general approach you want for this mission. Now, as always, let's talk about what we think an average score is. If you're able to lock down holding two consistently, that gets you 40 points, which, as we all know, we really want to be scoring at a minimum. That means you're holding your home field and you're holding one other objective. So it's important to try and work out which one that is. Now, we often talk about natural expansion objectives. Which one is the one which you kind of logically go and hold, and therefore, in theory, your opponent mirrors that? I find it really interesting. When I first started looking at these missions, when the pack first came out, it was kind of like, oh, which one it is? Because they've both got arguments for them, haven't they? Really. If you look at the top left, there's a large surface area to hold, and you can get there from the kind of the L in your left-hand deployment zone. If you look at the bottom right, you have good access to it from a lot of your army that's stationed in the big middle L. But conversely, you can't hold that much of the objective with units, especially if you don't want to be up against the wall. So it's an interesting decision to make. Most of the time, people end up going, if you're deploying in the bottom left hand corner, most people go as a natural expansion is the bottom right hand corner. The reason for that is you can hide there and hold it. Yes, your opponent has got a large surface area of map to go and steal, but when they're there, they're probably getting shot at, and they're losing a unit to keep knocking you off primary. So on top of that, realistically, the units they're bringing to bear were kind of deployed in that little L there. So yeah, it's if you can get an early 10 or heck even an early 15 through some shenanigans or trickery, or in the case of Grey Knights, something like a Sigil of Exigence or something like that, that's really useful in case you end up getting knocked down to a 5 somewhere else. I think the important thing though is that you do lock one down. And in order to do that, you need to overwhelm a flank. You don't want to be spreading yourself out. You want to say, no, this is my flank. I'm killing everything that can come threaten it. You can have the other one, sure, but I'm going to keep throwing stuff onto that objective, onto that big surface area. I'm going to keep knocking you down, and I'm going to say, no, everything in this bottom right-hand corner of the board is dead. It's mine. Don't come near it. It's not worth your time. Because of the 5, 10, 15, I think this is a mission where it's really important to be constantly thinking at the start of your turn, how can I deny my opponent primary? Okay, so I really want you to be thinking, oh, they're on for a 10. Can I make them have a 5? Heck, can I give them a 0? You definitely don't want to be allowing any 15s unless you're certain you can make it back. It does mean that if you go second, there is a nice advantage there of a potential 15 at the end to claw back as well. So that is something to bear in mind. In terms of scoring your secondaries, we've got two safe spaces for sabotage, ish. So you've got your L on the left-hand corner, where the 5 is, and you can kind of go there. That's reasonably safe. Obviously, you can get charged, but that is reasonably safe depending on where they are. And then also those middle L's, the middle L on the right and lower, you can obviously be just out of the deployment zone and doing it there. Or if you've managed to lock down one of the objectives, they've all got terrain pieces on as well. But sitting on the middle ones is quite bold, but other than that, you're in a pretty good place. Containment's incredibly easy to deploy for. You just need to not forget to do it. And as long as you do that, you're going to score your 6 points. And again, as always, you can just about prevent big area denial and establish locus from the wall in the middle. So yeah, that's this mission taking hold. It's a bit of a classic one, but I do think it's really important to try and lock down one side of the board. I think turning it into Dawn of War is probably the way forward, because I think a lot of armies quite often hide a lot of stuff between those two big L's in the middle. And again, there's quite a lot of space in the back if you're able to have like rapid ingresses and 3-inch deep strikes and that sort of thing to cause a bit of havoc, because knocking your opponent off their home field and locking down their home field one, that's a really nice way. Like some sort of like pincer movement is really nice on this mission. There you are. That is mission 3. Hope you enjoyed. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe, give us guys. We love it. And I'll see you next for mission 4.